Hey guys, I'm Mr. Polly. Welcome back to another Polly's Rants and Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing Trine 3. Let's talk about it. Trine 3 starts off the game with the three heroes coming together again, all hating their lives. Yeah, the game sets the tone very apparently that this game is going to be terrible. All three heroes crack jokes and immediately hate Trine, the thing that keeps them alive. Mainly because it volunteers them to save the world against their will. How fun. Yeah, they hate themselves, they hate the Trine, and ultimately, they hate this game. But why is that? Why is Trine 3 so hated? Well, there's nothing really redeeming about it. Other than the art style change among all the Trines, each Trine being their own kind of art, it has more of a realistic feel. Other than that, it has no real positives. It starts off with all the characters hating on the game. They don't want to be there. They don't want to save the world again. And in fact, they actually want to try to get out of this cult-like feeling bind with the Trine. So how does this game play? It doesn't very well. You see, Trine 3 was developed to be 3D because it's the third installment. So that right there had a lot of issues. Let's start naming some. Well, instead of going left to right like you normally would, you would go back and forth instead of just left and right. And that's an issue. Why? Because your aiming is off. If you're always trying to aim to your right, now you gotta aim to your right, behind the screen and in front of the screen. So it makes targeting really, really hard to do. Not only that, you can get stuck behind walls now, because normally there aren't walls to get stuck behind because it's only a 2D platformer. It's now a 3D platformer. But the developers of this game did not add player outlines, so you can't actually know where your player is. Now you might go, well, the camera would shift back and forth. Well, that's not true. Usually in these kind of games, the camera is set on a specific location unless you move outside that bounds. But if you're stuck behind a wall that doesn't really go anywhere, then the camera doesn't really move. So you're kind of just stuck there waiting. And this happened to me, like right off the bat. I was playing the noble knight, and I immediately got stuck behind the wall during his first level. And it was, it took me like 10 minutes to get out. So that wasn't fun. But now there's all sorts of issues. Whenever you're trying to jump, it's always off, because you don't know exactly if you're going to jump straight where you're planning on jumping, or you're going to jump all the way in for the camera, or behind the camera, or actually over here. Like, you're jumping left or right. You don't know what you're jumping, because at any time, sorry, my glasses were falling. At any time, your character can just move in any direction now. So there's no real way to tell where you're going. And so that sucks. Now, when it comes to the 3D aspect, is the looks. There's plenty of good flying scenery, right? When you're swinging in the air, it feels and looks amazing. It's like cinematic to some degree, but there's not a whole lot of them. There's only a few of them, and it's definitely not worth it because there's so much frustration and constantly trying to figure out where you're aiming and where you're jumping and where you're platforming, and every time it usually leads to a death just because you just don't know what's gonna happen. Because it's so unpredictable on what angle and depth of the game you're gonna go in. It just does not work. It was poorly performed, poorly innovated into the game. So other than the bad 3D about Trine, what makes this game a bad game? Well, right off the bat, they tried a new selection of levels, which while is new and different outside of the Trine games previously and after, it doesn't work, mainly because the map is open world kind of, so you can see all the levels you're doing. But the problem with that is there's no real point of it. It's clearly added in not because they wanted to try something new. They added it in because for some reason they didn't add abilities to unlock in this game. So previously in Trine 1 and 2, you played throughout the map to collect points. You unlocked abilities to help out each individual character do their own unique thing. You see, as you progress through each Trine game, the idea is that each character becomes independent on its own, so you're less reliant on the rest of the characters in their own unique fashion of solving each puzzle for each level. Well, this is not the case. You get every single ability right off the bat. You get every ability right off the bat, and this is an issue. Because throughout all of the Trine games, the whole point of going throughout the map and trying to collect these Trine points is to unlock these abilities for your characters, because you can choose between the three. And typically you would choose 2 out of the 3 to play, to complete each puzzle. But here you can't, because each character has their own unique abilities to transverse each puzzle. And here you just get them all. So it's like, what's the point of collecting all these puzzle pieces, or these Trine points, to better frame it, to get through the levels? What's the point of collecting these Trine points if I'm not unlocking abilities for the characters that I like to solve the puzzles? And the question is you get locked out of each level if you don't. Yeah, that's their solution. They gave you all of the abilities right off the bat, so you didn't have to earn them or even try for them. And then they're like, guess what? If you want to continue the game, you have to get these points. And it sucks. It really does suck. Nothing's more pain in the ass and boring and just ultimately crap than having to play each level to purposely collect each Trine point just so you can play the next level. The whole point of the Trine points was the idea that you didn't have to collect them. You didn't have to get these abilities for each character. It was never a set in stone thing. It was clearly for the player just to get these points, just to get them, to collect them all so that they can fully outfit each character with every single ability to make solving the puzzles more fun or in different unique ways. And here it gets rid of that creativity. I mean, the freaking Paladin Knight, goddamn, has a move where he flies with his shield, and then he also can skateboard on his shield in other games. So, like, what purpose does that serve? It doesn't really serve any purpose other than for fun. But guess what? You can use your points and waste them to buy that ability, and that's what makes it fun. And here, you get it automatically. It sucks. It removes the reason why you play Trine, ultimately. They try to add these gladiator kind of side things in the map, which I don't... It's like, okay. So yes, they do have these little side events you can do. They're all melee based, pretty much. I'm pretty sure they're all melee based. And they get you more Trine points to unlock the maps, so you don't have to go back and redo the entire map to get the little bits of Trine points that you missed. You don't want to be there. The characters don't want to be there. It's just a colossal mess. And it's not really played out that well. And there's nothing really good for it or to it. It's just 3D didn't work out. It's one bad game out of 5 games. So, you know, this is one you can definitely skip. The story doesn't really matter. I mean, the only thing it has going for it that it does look pretty. There are a lot of pretty scenes when you're like flying through the sky, or you're on Pontius the Knight and you're soaring through the sky. But it revolves around like none of what makes Trine a Trine game. Like, Trine has very goofy combat, which this game really doesn't have. Archery is a big thing, but you can't see where you're shooting half the time, so it sucks. You're constantly missing, or aiming is so difficult. Trine 3 is just a game where they tried something new, because they had the big 3 on there, and they're like, let's add a D to it, and then they fucking failed, and that sucks. But Trine 3 is a failed game. I give Trine 3 a 3 out of 10. I'm Mr. Polly. See you guys next time.